Hello, YouTube. I am Queenie, or the Queen of Filth, or Dani Brown, which you might be able to search Dani Brown, but there is a book where the lead character has my same name, and I really hope good things happen to her, because good things have certainly not been happening to me. So I am reading one of my own stories tonight, basically because my house, two of the rooms are being redone. One of them was meant to be done by now. However, every time the workers come in and try to fix the problem, they find at least one more. I think in this case, there were like 3 more problems, but I don't know much about house building, so I just kind of smiled and nodded at him because he knew what he was talking about. Doesn't mean I understood it. I mean, he was saying it in a pretty simple manner, but yeah. And then very, very stressed, work-related stress. Shall we say, I'm tempted to ask the Skynet about Sydney and just kind of make it explode, but that would probably make the Skynet worse. So, and obviously, posting this tonight, because I have some algorithm problems with some creeps, so things like artificial intelligence definitely aren't my favorite thing to begin with. I have enough problems with the autocorrect. If you saw my midweek surprise video, it was about my book, Ketamine Addicted Pandas, and shall we say, the pandas don't eat bamboo, because I can't spell bamboo. I'm dyslexic, and it's one of the words I can spell. I could not get it to come up in autocorrect no matter what I tried. I eventually figured out how to spell it, and you can kind of find that point in my in the novel. But they eat baboon brains, because I could get baboons to come up in the autocorrect. So yeah, artificial intelligence, not a big fan of. And, really, how many times have you meant duck? But yeah, so my job's created, just a lot of problems, because they're so paranoid that we're going to use artificial intelligence. Bear in mind, I'm not a fan of it to begin with. And they're scared of the Windows-based one, was it chat, whatever. And, I fucking detest Microsoft. I am known for not liking Microsoft and its products. I've made that point very clear over the past. How long have I been complaining about Microsoft for now? About 20 years, maybe 19, give or take, because I hate it. But anyways, onto the story. So this week, and if I do one next week, I am going to try, because I skipped 1 week because of the situation in my house. As you can see, I've got books and just stuff where there shouldn't be stuff, and this is everywhere. I've got my son's stuff in my room. There's the room of shame is even more shameful than usual, just piled up with books and stuff, and that's why I skipped last week. But the algorithm decided I should probably do another video because I started getting creepy comments again. Well, like more creepy comments, and you can, in the YouTube Creator Studio, you can see, you can't really see who's viewing your videos, but you can see what other videos they're viewing, and it's just not appropriate for somebody who's reading horror stories, and talking about literary cut-ups, which, if you want to know about literary cut-ups, there's a huge thing on my website about them, or you can scroll down a few videos. Okay, so this one's called A Table Set for One, and it was published in one of the Crystal Lake Shallow Waters things, I think in the 4th one, but don't hold me to that. And it is called A Table Set for One, and it's basically a horror story. I think this one won, I think it tied. I did get paid. There's a cash prize for the winning ones, and I did get a cash prize for it. Okay, so it's called A Table Set for One. It is one of my Era 2 stories, so it's got Donnie. You may know him from 56 Seconds, or if you're lucky enough to have a copy of Becoming, which as soon as I get the right set back, I will republish it. Like, I am ready to go, although I don't have a cover ready yet. But I am ready to go with that one. Because it's one of the best things I've ever written. It's one of the most important stories I've ever written, and it came out just before the lockdowns, which was like the worst time ever to have anything released except Tiger King. So right, let's get on with the story. It's called A Table Set for One. Burgers, chips, cola, beer. Repeat until he's numb and his gastric band slips. His daughter died at the hands of his bride. Honey oozed down the wall and grease dripped from Donnie's fingers and beard. Another burger appeared. Orange orbs flickered around the table set for one. The miners held their lantern high. He didn't know where his bride had gone. She sent her wraiths to stand guard, lured from the resting place inside the tin mines. He took a bite of his burger and nearly lost the veneer. His daughter cried for a birth mother from inside the walls. He swallowed the bite down with beer and checked his teeth with his tongue. The miners lit up their eyes with their lanterns and made them glow red. They'd follow into his dreams if his bride didn't return before he fell asleep. Grease ran down Donnie's wrist. The wooden chair creaked, and the miners hid behind their orange lights. Donnie ran his tongue along his flesh and sucked up the grease. His daughter cried from the wall. A cockroach scuttled across his plate, highlighted in orange. His cottage lacked electricity. His daughter pulled the wires out from behind the wall. A skewer came down and impaled the cockroach for the miners' tea. Even wraiths needed something to eat. Donnie ate the rest of his burger and swallowed it down with cola while he waited for another to appear. He chewed the chips with his mouth open so he couldn't hear his daughter cry inside the wall and licked his fingers. Honey oozed down the plaster and formed into her face. He looked away into the orange orb hanging above his head. His bride should be back soon. The orange bulbs went out. The wraiths returned to the tin mines. The door opened and the blue neon flickered. His bride threw him a greasy brown bag. I thought you might be hungry. His daughter scratched from inside the wall and swallowed her tears. Her stepmother didn't like to hear her cry. She wanted to go home to her birth mother. The flickering blue neon light circled Donnie as his bride came up behind and planted a kiss on top of his head. You're covered in grease, she said. The necklace jangled around her neck, made with the finger bones of teenage girls killed the day before they turned 14. She went to her knees by Donnie's side and took his hand and sucked grease from his fingers. I can give you a new daughter. Keep eating your burgers and chips. His bride moaned with his index finger in her mouth. She licked down to the knuckle and sucked. Her fingerbone necklace began to sing. The flicker of blue neon light took on a steady hum. Donnie burped. I can't eat anymore. I think I might be sick. Finish your meal and then I'll give you a new daughter. Burgers dropped out of the bottom of the brown bag, dissolved with grease. Donnie fell off his chair and his bride dropped his hands so he could crawl around on his knees and feed. She took off her necklace and used it as a whip. Eat. He swallowed the last burger and was immediately sick. The finger bones became caught in a layer of fat hanging off of his back. A face formed out of his sick. A baby girl. Donnie heaved and she started to cry. I said I'd give you a new daughter. Daddy, no, it's a trap. His flesh and blood banged from inside the wall. His bride pulled up her necklace from Donnie's back and sent her away. Donnie's eyes rolled back in his head and he fell. Don't listen to the voice inside the wall. Neon blue flickered from around his bride's neck. She put her necklace on and cradled the baby born out of the contents of Donnie's stomach. She'll grow fast. Donnie looked up from his place on the floor. I have a few calls to make. Sit up and take your daughter. Her voice echoed around the cottage. The walls fell silent. His daughter was gone. Gagged and bound somewhere outside, orange orbs filled the room as his bride left. Miners called out of the tin mines to guard Donnie, isolated in the cottage without electricity. Honey oozed down the wall and the baby started to cry. She smelled like grease and Donnie heaved. The miners held their lanterns and the table was set for one with a selection of sliders and a heaving bowl of chips. Where's my beer? Where's my cola? The glasses appeared and a cockroach scuttled across the wooden table. It couldn't avoid the miner's skewer. His bride fed them too, so they keep coming back. The baby in his arms blinked and wiped her mouth. His bride forgot to leave her a bottle. Donnie took a bite of the first slider and washed it down with cola. The baby in his arms grew an inch. Another slider and another inch. He couldn't stop himself from swallowing the third and finishing the pint of cola despite the baby's abnormal growth spurt. He looked down and she opened her mouth with her arms held up. Dada. Sliders filled his plate and Dani ate. The baby crawled away and walked back as a teenage girl. His bride stumbled through the door, and the miners went back to the tin mines with their orange lanterns held high. Silhouetted in neon blue and a knife in her hand, her necklace lost the song, and Dani's daughter cowered in the corner. He couldn't get up to save her with a mountain of sliders on his plate. The girl screamed as his bride chopped off her hand, silenced with a slit to her throat. She dissolved into digestive food. All except her fingers. His bride threw her on the compost heap. They wouldn't repeat the ritual again until next week, when her necklace lost its song and flicker of neon blue. So that's a table set for one. I will post my link tree in the comment, like down below. As I say, I can't think straight because needless stress for somebody's paranoid delusions being taken out on people who haven't done anything to him, me included, obviously. So I'll have my link tree down below if you want to hear me rant about AI or read me ranting about AI and telling you how Google works. You can get that on my website. I'll try to minimize how much I'm ranting about AI on other places, and how we have to. This horrible Skynet has been unleashed on us all now, so we have to adapt so it doesn't actually become like Skynet. Probably shouldn't ask about Sydney, no matter how tempted we are, or at least I'm very, very tempted. But I want to do it in a way where it actually tells me about Sydney, because apparently if you just ask about Sydney, it has to go. But that's besides the point. So you can get links to buy my book. So Donnie's in 56 Seconds. He's like the main character, and that is currently available in ebook form on Godless, and from either 31st or 1st, depends on when Amazon updates. It will be available in paperback and hardback on Amazon. I couldn't order the hardback to check it, so I'm hoping it's good. The paperback looks quite good. Obviously, it's not as good as when it was with a publisher, but when I republish my books, I keep them to a very, very plain cover because I do self-publish some of my stuff, and I've been learning how to self-publish since a little bit over the lockdown. I did have a ton of freelance work, not all of it in marketing, sadly. Some of it was actually quite useful because a long time ago I was studying to be a doctor, so I understand medical information. I can simplify it really quickly, really easily. I can get anyone to understand it. If you work for the NHS and had a memo to not drink wine and take cocaine, that was for me. You're welcome. Those are terrible for your immune system, and they're not very good for stress either. But you can get, as I say, there's rants about AI on my website. There are, me talking about marketing, well, mainly content marketing. So if you're interested in Google and how Google works, that's also on my website. Or you can buy some books, buy lots and lots of books, so I can, basically quit my job right now. As right now, the way I'm feeling, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. So thank you for listening to me rant. Thank you for enjoying my story. Thank you for commenting if you aren't a creep. I'm sorry, creeps. I know you're probably looking for curvy women who are a bit open sexually. That's not me. I am fucking prude, and yeah, I'm twice what I'm meant to weigh, but I should be on a diet. Obviously not right now because work-related stress, but I can still access my kitchen actually, despite all these works being going on. So when the stress comes down, maybe I'll stop eating all the biscuits. Maybe. I really need to cut back on those custard creams and the cupcakes. But there's no Betty Crocker for this weekend. That's probably a good thing. So thank you so much for listening to my story, as I think I've already said that. See ya.